Now, I want to ask about this tariff revenue bonus that President Trump is committed to sending to Americans.
When I pay people $2,000 each for low and moderate income and middle income people, everybody but the rich get this. That's not made up, that's real money. That comes from other countries.
Josh, a $2,000 dividend check to be distributed from tariff revenue sometime next year, we're told, perhaps before the midterms. Do you see this happening? Because there's a lot of doubts about whether these $2,000 checks can be sent.
If I had to guess, I would guess probably not, to be honest with you. This would probably require an act of Congress. I think this would be very legally dicey to try to do via executive order. I think the even more compelling reason why I would throw some skepticism as to whether or not this will happen is because based on what the American people tell pollsters, including those off-year elections 2 weeks ago in New York City, New Jersey, and Virginia, Rita, the issues that they still care most about are pertain to inflation, cost of living, affordability, things like that. And if there's one thing that we know from Joe Biden's spending bonanza and the various checks in the mail during COVID, it's that these things over the course of a year or 2, 3 years at the most can tend to exacerbate inflationary fears. And if this administration is sympathetic to listening to the American people when it comes to their cost of living concerns this is the kind of thing that might sound good in theory. I mean, who doesn't want to receive a $2,000 check in the mail? I mean, heck, sign me up. That sounds great. But unfortunately, there is a downside to that when you look at it from a more macro extrapolated perspective there, and that is potentially exacerbating inflation. So for all these reasons, I am skeptical. But this is Donald Trump's populist mentality, right? I mean, he sees revenue coming in for the tariffs. He wants to share the wealth with the people. These are my big, beautiful tariffs. There, I want to see the people who are proud of this tariffs, but proud of rebuilding industry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I totally understand where he's coming from his mentality there. But from both a separation of powers perspective, I don't think Congress would get behind it. And then also on the inflation fears, I'm a little skeptical as well.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not doubting your judgment that perhaps this can't be done and the process that has to go through. But I reckon people would be absolutely overjoyed about getting a $2,000 check, and they're not going to worry too much about how inflationary it may be down the track. I think you are underestimating how much people love free things, and $2,000, and particularly because it's coming essentially from foreign nations. If it is actually coming from tariff revenue, the symbolism there, I think, is pretty good. Now, before you go, there's already trouble among New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani's transition team with Hassan Chaudhary, who's reportedly the political director for the transition committee. It's been revealed he's been posting hate against Jews and Israel and even questioning gay rights. Now, these social media posts are from around 10 years ago, but they're pretty ugly. He used the word Jew as a slur. He praised former Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who infamously said Israel is a cancer which will be eliminated soon. I think we're seeing now this conflict coming to fruition between Mamdani's very woke supporter base and some of the Islamist supporter base.
Yeah, Rita, I mean, this has to be the least surprising political development of my entire lifetime, right? I mean, that is Zohran Mamdani, someone who struggled to condemn Hamas, someone who struggled to condemn the inherently genocidal phrase of "from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free," someone who was accusing Israel of genocide before the tanks even started rolling into Gaza, like literally on October 8th or October 9th, 2023, something absolutely crazy like that. I mean, obviously, he's going to surround himself with people who think and talk like this. This is totally unsurprising. I think the more interesting thing to me is, as the New York Post reported in the headline that we just saw, this guy was not just bashing Jews; he was also bashing gay rights. That is interesting, right? Because that is one of the major planks of the current American left when it comes to LGBT, very much including transgenderism. But this actually gets to a broader point, Rita, that I've been making for many years now, which is that this whole absurd woke intersectional identity politics coalition, this notion of a coalition of aggrieved interests, as I call it there, it's inherently self-contradictory. If you're going to have someone who is sympathetic to radical Islam and Islamism or Sharia law, you're by definition not going to have someone who is sympathetic to feminism or LGBT rights there. Think about Linda Sarsour. I mean, she was the head of the Women's March back in
Yeah.
2017, the very early days of Trump administration. She also was a Sharia law apologist. I mean, square that circle for me. With same thing with this guy, the Mamdani advisor. I mean, square this circle for me where you're calling yourself a quote unquote progressive champion. It literally just does not add up, and it all kind of underscores the intellectual dissonance and frankly just the intellectual vapidity and stupidity that is the modern American left.
And Linda Sarsour is on the scene. I thought she had disappeared, but it seems like she's been working behind the scenes, helping Zoran Mamdani and others get elected. So, yeah, she's still a force to be reckoned with, unfortunately, for America. Josh Hammer, thank you so much for your time tonight.